So we have this jet engine. Okay, we start with
Ankit,
creating first animation.
Ankit, just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eman sir, I'm trying to record the screen, but it's kind of flickering. It was not recording correctly. I don't know why it's happening.
No, don't mind. So I'm actually recording it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Ankit,
So
continue.
probably first I'll start with like creating animation. So so this jet engine, this object is where we'll have all our animation. Okay, so click on this, click on animation tab. If you don't have this animation tab, go to window, animation, and click on animation, and you get this tab. Okay, so once you click on this, you'll have this button over here which says create. Click on create, create new folder, animation, and name it as business. So click on click on this object, hit on record, add keyframe, normal position keyframe. Uh, let's say like after 2 seconds, right? So after 2 seconds, this will go here. Okay. Probably after 3 seconds, uh, add keys for this object, and this will go here. Similarly, let's say like if you have images which you have to show, right? So that images also has to be part of this particular game object. Okay, so let's say like this particular image has to be pop up. Okay, so what I'll do is I right click, create one plane, and in this plane I'll drag and drop this image. And let's say like in third trigger I want this particular object to pop up. So I'll again go to plane. On sixth, let's say on 6th second, this will be hidden. So hit on record. You'll make sure like it is hidden on 6th frame, and just the very next frame will active it back. So now we have this animation. Okay. Alternatively, you can also use scale animation. So for example, if I remove this inactive and active one, so let's say like in this particular frame, your scale will be 0, 0, 0, and after like 1 second, it would be 0.1. Okay, so this will give you this kind of animation. So whether you want like in just in a single click it should come, so you can use active and active, or you can use this one. If you change the pivot point into animation, it will have like different effects. So let's say like on third click, this particular pop-up will come. So we have animation for that as well. Hmm. Stop recording.
How did
Now
you
we'll
make it
set.
hide? Sorry, I don't follow. Like, how do you make it hide?
So
Scale zero, is it? Hide means?
yeah, there are like two ways. So if you scale 0, it will be like 0, 0, 0. So automatically it will be height. Means if there's no scaling for that object, it will be you won't be able to see, right? So this could be one option, or otherwise there is this active and active object.
Okay. Got
You
it.
can use that as well.
Got it. By default,
So
it
now
should be
we
visible, is it? Like at the beginning.
at beginning, no, like from beginning itself, like it will be hide only. Only
Okay.
after this particular frame, it will be visible.
Okay, understood.
Okay, um, so now we'll create trigger. So for creating trigger, just go to new space, click on trigger, and how many triggers we require. Let's say like for now we need three. So we'll click three and hit on create. If we need more, we'll just add whatever number we want. Let's say like two more. Click on two and hit create. So it will create another two triggers and do it this way. So let's say for now we have five triggers. So in SB test, this is the place where you have to keep your master object. So for us, it is the jet engine animation, jet engine game object, because under this is what we have all our animation. So we will click on SB test, drag and drop this particular object in main object. And over here you have user canvas, code canvas, instruction canvas. So we have to drag and drop objects for this particular uh, like in this placer as well. So this game object will get in trigger zones folder. So click on trigger zones art. These are the use game object. Have to place. So host option against the whole canvas. Instruction canvas under instruction canvas. You see game object under user canvas. Okay, so yeah, this is the thing. Also, if you click on T zones, you'll see like how many triggers you have, right? Like five triggers, and each one is assigned to particular trigger zone part. So trigger zero is there like this. So now to create a clickable action, we'll go to trigger like the very first. And right now you won't see like what is there. So, but if you click on sphere collider, you see like this is where our first trigger is. So probably we'll just move it up and let's say like this particular object, if you click on this, animation will start. So
Navneet, I
now
don't know if
trigger,
it is only with me or others as well.
uh,
I'm not able to follow your conversation. For
Yes,
others, is the
Hemant.
audio okay?
No, no, no. It's
okay.
fully stucking.
Navneet, you may want to repeat your last one
So
more
it
time.
okay. So like this is the trigger, right? So this one, um,
Yeah, go ahead.
so once we have created triggers, most of the triggers are like at point position 000.
Right.
So if we have to click on this so that animation will happen, we have to move this trigger towards this particular part place.
Hmm. You're basically moving the trigger to a spot which user has to click on. Is it? Or
Yeah.
no? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So now we have this trigger. So inside this trigger, we have trigger audio and trigger area. So trigger audio is where you can add any clip which you want, and in trigger area, so suppose right now if you want this particular object to get highlighted, or probably you want tap here button, right? So that tap here button has to be inside trigger area, okay? Or let's say like that highlight component that has to be under trigger area. So for us, this particular object is the one which has to get highlight. So we'll control D and move it be inside the trigger area. So now this is our clickable object. This trigger area, this nozzle head one, this is our clickable object. How? Uh, yeah, just a drag and drop. Yeah, and it is just like visual representation of trigger area. So right now, like this is the trigger area, but we don't know like where it is. right? Like this is our sorry.
Understood.
If
Understood.
I
But it's not
this
duplicating mesh or anything, right? When you
uh,
added the
yeah, like
nozzle
I have,
head down, yeah, is it duplicating the nozzle head?
yeah, I have duplicated it because we are not actually clicking on any of these parts,
Okay,
right?
okay.
We are clicking on this trigger thing. But for this, how we'll visualize that there is a trigger,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you see, like if I just like show this area, we don't know like where is the trigger area,
Understood.
right?
Got it. Got it.
So that is it.
So you copied
So
it and then you use that copy and highlighting it perhaps.
yeah,
Okay.
this is yeah. So this is our triggerable area, like visualization for. Okay. Let's move this. Okay.
Basically, if
And
you want to highlight areas in on any physical product, you have to always make a copy of it. So mesh will double, right? Then in the scene,
yeah, mesh will double.
mesh will double. But after the trigger is over, maybe we can hide it.
So like so first, like let's say like if this trigger is activated, right?
Huh.
So when this trigger get activated, only objects inside this trigger area will be there. This will automatically get hide.
Oh, okay, okay, got it, got it. Understood.
So for this, probably we need to add highlight animation. Okay, so for creating highlight animation, we have to create one material. Let's keep it highlight, and for this, we'll change rendering mode from opaque to fade, and let's keep it red, and we'll drag and drop on this. Mhm. And now for this, we have to create animation. So we'll again go to our animation tab, click on create, click on highlight, and we'll hit record. So this will be our first copy paste. In between, we'll fade it out. So now we have this animation. Um, so for, I guess like this is bit long, so I have to make it like little short. So I select all the keyframe and I just drag this. So it make our animation bit faster.
How do you make
So
it
now
loopable?
this is loopable.
By default, it is loopable, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to like set up anything, or it's always loopable, is it?
Yeah, it is always loopable. Like if I have to show this,
Huh.
uh, you
Got
save
it.
this, like it is always yeah, this particular is always getting is loopable. So
Okay.
this is always like animating only until unless we add one another and exit
Okay.
or
Okay.
end to this.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So which means that
Now
resize
for
picture that you
trigger,
showed earlier, right? That resize picture was probably a loopable resize. It keeps resizing itself again and again.
no, that we have, that we will set. So
Okay.
right now, like if we play only this particular animation, right? So
Yeah.
it will be loopable like this.
Okay. Okay.
Every time
Understood.
if you click on play, if you see,
Uh,
once this will go here, it will start again.
Okay.
But now when we click on trigger, and over here we have to keep start frame and end frame. So
Okay.
when we keep start frame and end frame, it will only play for that particular frame, and it won't fade from here to here. That's
Understood.
it.
Understood.
Okay. So for trigger, we'll write info text. So info text is what comes at the bottom. So if this is what user is seeing, so if there we want like some sort of instruction or some sort of text to be overlaid over here, so this is where we have to type info text. So let's say like nozzle something. And here we have to type our start frame and end frame. So if you go to jet engine, so our start frame is 0 and our end frame is 121, right? So over here we'll type 0 and end frame will be 121. Now if we click on this particular object, this animation will occur from 0 to 121. Okay. So
And then the text also will be visible at the same time, right?
yeah, this info text will be visible. If we don't add anything, nothing will be visible.
But start frame to end frame that you wrote, no, is that corresponding to the master object always?
Yeah, it always has to be in the master object. It's not like if we create another animation and if we type it, it won't work. It will only take this master object.
Okay, okay. And you indicated the master object where? In this SB test, right?
Yeah, inside this SB test main object.
So from there it is picking the master object and you are indicating the start and end frame in the trigger. Okay, got it.
So for this, yeah. So for this, if we want, let's say we want a tap here button for trigger area. Okay. So I'll give you this text box as well. So if you drag and drop this, you'll get all this text box. Okay. So if you try to drag and drop here, you'll get this error. It's not actually error, but we don't have TextMesh Pro installed in our project till now. So that is why we are getting this. So to avoid this, just right click on UI, add TextMesh Pro, import TMP example and etc. Once this is done, go to Windows, TextMesh Pro, and import TMP essential resources and click on import. I'll show this once again where I Windows, TextMesh Pro, and import TMP essential resources. This, see, you get a text box, this box written over here. So this can drag and mark
Your voice is breaking.
trigger.
Ankit, voice is breaking.
Your voice just broke again. You have to repeat
So
the last few seconds.
okay, did you got this like how what this
We can't hear you again, actually, Ankit. We were able to follow till you
add
install TextMesh Pro
text box?
Essentials from the right click and from the menu. We saw both of that, but after that we couldn't
Yeah,
hear you.
okay, I just read the same thing again, like just to show like what I did.
Yeah.
TMP. So now this one we have added inside our trigger, like trigger 2. So if you click on, if we expand this particular text box, we have this text. So over here we can change this text box. So let's say like tap here, and we can increase font size, and probably we can keep whatever uh, we want, like whatever text.
Oh, very nice. So you can also change the font, is it?
Uh, right now, like I have only this particular font installed, so I can only use this one. But we can install like we can drag and I mean we can copy paste like different font over here,
Oh,
and
very nice.
to create that like we have to like create atlas for this. I'll just give you a brief on how we can do that. Once you have this particular font, you have to go to TextMesh Pro and font asset creator. In this, we'll just drag and drop our source font file and create generate font atlas and save. And then we can use our custom font.
Okay, it's basically TTF file from typical Windows, which we upload there, and then create a text font asset.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Cool.
Do we need to create the same for each and every project, or it will remain?
like new font.
Yeah, new font
New font you have to create
for
for
every
each project.
project.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but these resources, Liberation Sans and Liberation Sans, right? These are fonts that you created, is it? Okay.
No, these are like pre-made, and this came default with TextMesh Pro.
So that's the answer, Sriram. These when you install TextMesh Pro, it already will have two fonts.
Okay.
You can either use these two or add your own font assets.
Okay.
That will be based on the project. You can always save it as well, right, Ankit? If you add more
Yeah,
font assets, you can also save them, no, somewhere.
yeah. Probably if you can just like if you copy this particular in resources, if you copy this right,
Uh-huh.
this font and materials, then you
Okay.
can drag and drop in your new process, new
Correct.
project, and then it will work.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we'll move this trigger area somewhere here. Right now, if you see like this is not at the center, so just click on text and put it 000. It will come on the center of the main object, like of the parent object.
Okay. So what is the problem if you don't do that?
Mm, So suppose like if it is here, right?
Uh,
Let's say here. So our trigger area this is this one, right? If we click
yeah.
on edit collider, so this is like our trigger area. So
Right.
probably we'll try clicking on this, but it won't work because our trigger area is this.
Okay. 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 I
So
thought the
that's
trigger
where
area is basically the tap here button. No, is it? Okay.
uh, yeah, like okay, there's two things. So even if you in tap here button, if you add box collider,
Uh,
okay, then you can place it anywhere, okay, and then either you can click on this tap here button or you click on this, it will work.
oh, okay. Okay.
So if you have like two, if you have one here and like tap here over here and this way, so if like we have two people, so
Oh, like
by mistake
Astrom,
if
right?
one click on this,
Like how you have done for Astrom, maybe.
yeah. So in Astrom I have did the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
I have created two triggers. So one over here and the other one on the sense building.
Not two triggers. One trigger, but the trigger one is two colliders,
No, this
basically.
is yeah, like two colliders. So trigger one, this box collider was on first building,
Uh,
and this was on the other building.
oh, okay, okay. Interesting. Presumably, you can attach more like that, no? You can have multiple triggers also for the multiple colliders for one trigger, no?
Yeah. So if we duplicate this particular as well, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So even if we add box collider for this, then it will also work as a trigger.
Oh, very
The
nice.
only thing is like this won't work for Quest.
Oh, okay.
For Quest, we have like separate trigger zones, like trigger zones 3, but there are some error in that, so which Kumar has to fix, but that's another thing. So for
Okay.
Quest, we cannot do this, but for standalone, it will work.
Okay. Done. And then trigger one's area, right? Can you increase that? Trigger one, whatever the default collider for trigger one, right?
Yeah, I was just coming to that.
Oh, okay.
So either you can use this one and you can increase the size, or if you want, you can use another collider as well. So click on add component and click on box collider. We have cylinder colliders, capsule collider as well, whichever you want. Box collider works best in this case. So I'll just use box collider and make sure it is on top of trigger manager mod. Click on box collider and adjust like how big or how small you want. And always make sure like each trigger is checked, because if we don't check this one, it will just work as a collider and not as a trigger.
Mm.
So yeah,
So then,
that,
if you are putting the box collider around the tap here, then you can remove the tap here collider, right?
yeah, we can remove this.
It is redundant then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this I basically did because for some people this was like confusing. So now like we have text box, so it will always come with a collider. So people don't have to add box collider here or something.
Got it. Understood.
That reason like I have created this.
No, just wanted to understand the technicalities as well. Yeah. Got it.
So yeah, and now like even in trigger 2 we have to assign like our start frame and end frame. So for the second one, our start frame is 179 and our end frame is 301. Okay. So and over here as well we can type something.
The info text that we see, right? How do we
Yeah.
change the style for it?
Okay. So first we'll see like how it actually comes. So we'll click on new space, trigger, and test setup. So once you click on test setup, you'll get this main camera and this event system. Okay. So just make sure like every time you click on main camera, the tag is it is tagged as main camera. Sometimes it is tagged as untagged. Okay. So make sure it is tagged as main camera. And if we click on play, we can see this. So now like there is one small problem. No, I think like for this it is working. Okay, so sometimes what happen is like this one is so right now if we see the main hierarchy, okay, so we have this trigger 0, the trigger 1 and trigger 2 are hidden. So anything inside this will be hidden. Okay, sometimes what happen, even this is hidden. This nozzle head which we can see like is active, sometimes this is also hidden like in trigger area. So don't get afraid of like the highlighting is not happening or something. If you click on this particular thing will happen, animation will get played. So if you click on text box, I'm using WASD for walking. So if I click on this, animation is playing. So this was the text for which we want customization, right?
Right.
So to do that one, we go to our trigger zone setup, okay, and if we go to script or we have this user canvas, right? So if I open prefab, okay, sorry, instruction prefab. If you click on instruction and if we click on open prefab, we'll get this one. Okay, and over here is where we can change. So let's say if we want to have instead of Arial some other font, or like instead of normal it has to be bold. So we can change from here. We can change font color as well.
Hmm.
And if you click on panel, we'll say this. Sorry. If you click on panel, we'll see the background. That is what we can change from here. So if you want transparent, semi-transparent, we can change from this particular area.
Okay. And this
And even if
panel
you
size is fixed, is it?
no, if you want, like we can even change uh, this particular part, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like in new space,
Right.
so that is the thing. Because even they have like this instruction canvas and all set, right? So sometimes it doesn't override. So
Okay.
that is the problem. But
Understood.
most of these color changes and all, it will work.
Mm-hmm. Color, font, panel, text, everything will change. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Can you go into the instruction text once? Okay, fine. I just wanted to check if it's best fit or not.
Oh yeah, this also like if you want you can change. So if you want overflow or like alignments, this you can change. Yeah, this you can like modify.
But modified ones, it will apply for all the triggers, right?
Yeah, it will apply for all. We cannot like do
Yeah,
this
yeah.
like
Understood.
separate for this, separate for this.
Understood. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and for trigger two again. So for this, we'll create invisible trigger. So invisible trigger is nothing but collider without mesh. So if we add one cube and if we change cube size to, let's say, like this big, okay, and we have box collider, right? But if we remove mesh renderer, so now we cannot see the mesh, but box collider is still there. And if you click on edge trigger, this is our triggerable area where you cannot see anything. So this is the invisible trigger.
But it can also be done through trigger itself, no? Instead of the cube. Trigger 2.
This one,
Uh,
yeah, this can also be done.
okay, okay.
Like anything is possible. Like if you want this or through cube.
Or through cube, right? Okay. Got it.
Even like if we don't add anything over here, right? If we don't add this cube, and if we just keep this one, so even this is an invisible trigger.
Uh,
So let's keep this over here, okay, like this, and in this we want pop-up to happen. So we'll click on jet engine. Like this, right? So, starting frame is 360 to 363. So 360. If we play, now we cannot see anything, but if we, oh, sorry. So see, like what happened right now is, so our jet engine animation was from here to here, right? If we see, like our keyframe is from here to here. So after this, like everything's end. So we want like this to stay for a while, right? So for that, we'll just go somewhere here, or like at any place, pick any keyframe. Let's say this one only. Mm, right? So now our like timeline is from like till here. Okay, so now if we go back and if we do this, now it will stay. It will stay until unless we like click on the other trigger, like the next trigger. So this is how that pop-up will come.
okay, so sorry if I followed you correctly. So you're saying you just ended it at a few frames before it again hit.
I didn't got that. Sorry.
No, I didn't understand what you did. So basically, you increase the timeline.
Yeah. So currently, like for this particular trigger, right? So it is still 360 to 363.
Correct.
So earlier it was still 360 to 363. What will happen after 363? Nothing, right? Like it is ending.
Hmm.
So that is why like it also got end. So right now I have just increased the entire timeline till 8 seconds. But we have like our start frame and end frame till here, right? So it will stay.
Huh. I missed that part. So what happened when it was 360 to 363? Let's say if it is not, you did not increase the timeline. Let's say it's ended
It
at
will end.
363.
It will end like because after this there's nothing.
End
So it
meaning
will
what?
end.
End meaning what? It will. I think I missed that part. End meaning the animation disappears. Is it? Like when you say it will end, what does that mean?
It will goes to first position.
First position.
It
Okay, okay.
first position. It will reset. Means it's a default position.
Okay,
Animation
okay.
Yeah.
everything will go. Goes.
Understood. Okay, fine. Got it.
So from if we see here, like if we play, it will go to this one. right? Because there's nothing after this.
Yeah.
This line. Just like for all we need to do, like add one trigger area inside this. In the master game object, we'll add this plane. We'll add this animation, and just so that pop-up will appear. If you want, I can repeat something.
No, I think I'm just thinking. I mean, there are many other ways to do this, no? I think it's so many variables. So you click tab here. Maybe we can show another image, right, instead of mesh. So let's say, hear me out now. So let's say trigger 3, we added a tab here, for example,
Okay.
right? And then, which is basically, let's say, mesh like this, right? And then trigger 4, let's say we create another tab here, but which is a picture. Instead of a rectangle, it's just a picture, for example. The plane can also have a picture, right?
Yeah.
Not plane. This thing can, we can also make it like one sided as a picture, right? So the same thing of showing up a picture, we can also show it through click one trigger, another trigger comes up, which is basically a picture. And then click on that picture, it goes to another, like how we have done for, I think, the mobile phone screens, perhaps, in Fluxen and Torchpy.
Yeah, like that can also be done. So anything inside this, right? If you click, particular animation will play. So if you add like 00 for animation, like let's say like 361 and 361, it will lead to the another trigger. So another trigger will get activated and you can see that particular object. So yeah, that can also be done. I'm just giving another example.
Got it. Yeah, there are different ways to do this, but I think what you're proposing is a nicer, right? No, very organized way where we put all the effects, whatever happens, in one master object, and then
Yeah.
that's how you design the entire flow of the entire course. And then you come here in the trigger zones and then sort of click each one of it so that it is more organized. If other people have to work on this, they know how to add triggers in between.
So like other like these are like there are like multiple complicated way. For example, like this one, right? So like all the text and everything has to be properly organized. Like this is like bad example to give. I'll just skip this one. Leave.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is good. So from an animation standpoint, right? This is all animations that you have done it directly on the animator here on the master
Yeah.
object, which is basically about state change, right? For every object that it holds as children,
Hmm.
right? But so which means if for Christmas tree, right, the entire Christmas tree is an object,
Yeah.
right? If now if there are two different objects, let's say there's a jet engine and then there's a second jet engine also, two jet engines, for example, right? Let's say we have to click tab here and then both the engines should explode, for example. Then should both the engines be should both of that be like under one master object?
Yeah. Both has to be under one master object.
Okay. So you have to create like an empty node or something and make them as child.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing, Ankit, if you have environment, suppose
Yeah.
environment, these all are in with one folder, right? How can we
This
create
all.
that
Yeah.
one
This all
one
are.
folder structure?
I didn't
Hello.
got the question. Can you repeat again?
So yeah, suppose this is a one of the environment. This engine, the one
Okay.
environment.
I will explain. Right. So if I understood you correctly, so Ankit, this is what you're doing is on a object, dynamic object, right?
Yeah.
You're doing this on objects, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you have to do it on environments, what is the process that you will do? Let's say for Fluxgen, for example, right? Fluxgen, we created triggers.
Okay.
How did you do the Fluxgen triggers, for example?
Like I haven't did Fluxgen, but
Or
let's
any
say like if
environment, Wellmanai or whatever, right?
like for
Like,
this example, right? Like this
uh,
is the entire environment.
uh,
Okay. So everything was under so like all the equipments, right? So they were all under this animation tab. So under this is like all my canvases, all my thing that will get animated. Because I'm animating this and everything which is inside this, like all the objects and so. We are not animating any particular environment part. If, for example, if I have to animate this as well, so I'll keep this inside the like our main game object.
so the Wellmanai objects that you see on the top, or lights, minion equipment, and all, right? Like minion equipment is not animated, is it?
Yeah, these are not animated. Only those X-rays particles, they all were animated and they are all part of the main game object.
The animation game object.
Yeah.
So you're calling it animation, right? Barcode lines, cube, canvas, CP, phone.
These are all like yeah. This we can name anything. So like I have
Understood.
kept his animation.
This animation is what is used. In the animation is how you do all the animations, and you trigger it through 126 or 0 to 7. Sorry, 1 to 7
Yeah,
triggers. Okay.
yeah, like
Okay. So now this stuff, basically you're just changing the hierarchy of the scene in such a way that it fits your animation one object, one game object formula.
yes,
Right. So somebody has already created the entire environment as a scene in a different hierarchy. Now, just for the animation sake, you are clubbing all these objects into one object,
correct.
right? And then you are using that. Okay. Okay. The challenge only, I think, if I can think of in future is if we do this explode view, disassemble, and all of that, right? Then because the hierarchy has been changed, it may not work correctly, right?
Like I didn't got that.
Because you said you removed some of the parts of CT scanner and then put it in the game object, whichever you want to animate,
Yeah.
right?
So like we can like drag and drop the entire CT scanner inside this, and we will animate only those parts.
Understood, understood. That's what I'm saying. Technically, for what you have done, it may not, it'll, the explode view will not work. But unless you drag and drop the entire CT scanner, like you said, right?
Yeah,
You should drag. So, which means presumably you can also drag and drop the entire scene also, no, into one, like all the objects into one game object also, no, if you want to.
yeah, we can do that as well.
Okay. And
We
this
can
is
add
for
entire thing.
environment. This is for environment triggers, right? What you're talking about so far.
We have only one trigger. Like this is like if you add entire environment into this, it will be like we have to yeah, that will be environment trigger if we add only objects. So that is like object trigger,
Like this
asset
object,
trigger,
for example, whatever
trigger.
you created now, right? How do you package it and then put it as a dynamic object? Let's say we want to see this inside new room or sales room,
Okay.
right? What is the process now after here?
So we'll create one empty game object, and everything will be inside that game object, and we'll package this one.
Okay. Otherwise, you will open the environment and you will assemble the environment together. Is it? Let's say
Otherwise,
we
like if it is a scene,
yeah.
yeah.
Go on.
Suppose like if we have created the entire scene, and if we like bundle entire scene, that will be like scene triggers, and so it will be all inside the scene.
Okay. Yeah. It basically depends upon the bundling that you do, right? You create an asset
Correct.
bundle or a scene bundle. Based on that, that trigger is either applied on the environment or applied on the bundle, the dynamic object. Okay. So Ravi, did that answer your question?
Yes. Same question which you asked.
Okay, I have no other questions. Right? I mean, from an yeah, I think of course we can take another advanced class, perhaps on how to bring in other animations, something done in Maya, Blender. How do you bring it in and all of that, right? Yeah. Like how do you make people walk? For example, I think for Fluxen, what we've done is I think one of the characters started walking on an invisible trigger,
Yeah,
right? Like a different animation that Ravi worked on, and then the author was brought in.
yeah.
Even for Torch
So
Try, you
so
move forward and then the people started walking, right?
yeah.
How is that done?
So let me see if I have that.
And in the meantime, Sriram, any other questions for just finishing those seven?
That is what I'm going to ask. What do we need to do? External animation.
Okay, okay. But otherwise, for the seven of RAL, right? This
Yes,
is
sir.
whatever Ankit said is more than enough, right? Like very quite detailed description, right? On different ways to do this.
Yes, sir.
You just have to copy those mesh. That's all. With mesh triggers and all.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to break them wherever it's not already broken. We have to break them and then bring it in.
And one more thing, sir. Sham, sir, please address that orientation and SOP. Sham, sir, are you there?
So let's say like this particular
Right.
animation, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just drag and drop this, and this will be like our master game object. And inside this is where I have added all the other engine. So let's say like this jet engine, right? So this I will add inside this, and in this I will do animation, and all this animation I have to keep in this particular game object.
Mm.
So right now, like these are all readable keys. So I cannot see anything over here. But if I go here and if I copy this, or like let's say like if I duplicate this is the animation. So now all these animations are readable and writable. You can modify as well. So I'll click on create. I'll create one animator controller. Let's say character. This particular game object, I'll move, drag and drop this character, and this one, 001.
Ankit, can't hear you well. But Ankit, I think this is at least for me it is too much right now. This is the second part of the course. But if others want to like hear this further, you can continue.
As whatever like everyone will say.
So I think anyway it's like 1 o'clock, right? 1:12. So maybe I think we can focus more. I mean, maybe in a second class or something, right? On where you can help us understand on the animations, how to bring in new animations. And for now, I think this primer is actually quite good, which in itself is quite something to follow on, right? And then we
Okay.
can maybe come here maybe tomorrow or something. Yeah. The
Yeah, we
animation
can
part,
do.
right? So I think Sriram, for the stuff that is required for very basic stuff of like moving parts around, right? I think whatever we just heard from Ankit's talk so far, I think that's good enough. I think.
Yes, sir. I'll check once again this video and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
try to implement, sir.
sure, sure.